Sure.
Ow now, brown cow. Welcome. We're live, fellas. Let's rock and roll.
Rockin' and a rollin'.
Greetings and salutations.
Hello.
In this fine hour of our need.
Yeah. So
hey, Eric, put your stuff on mute.
Get Valiant number 134 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't even want to talk about this. You guys are the ones that put all this together. So we're doing a thing today.
A thing of what?
Right? You guys tell me. I didn't do it. I don't want to pretend that this is my thing.
Well, you have the book there, right?
Well, no. Well, I guess. I mean, oh my God, you guys.
I mean, come on. Yeah. Let's get this going.
Because of the work of Hoosier and Josh, and the kindness of Greg from Valiant, we have a copy of the brand new Bloodshot Omnibus that Valiant is going to ship to a winner that we will pick on this episode. So that's really cool. As Hoosier mentioned, I do actually have a copy of this omnibus. So I don't know if you guys can see the thing.
And guys, that's the one you're going to win, and the pages are probably already sticking together.
No, this is not the one that they're going to win. This is actually just mine.
But the pages are still sticking together.
Valiant is going to send. Yeah,
that thing looks
nice.
Dude,
it's beautiful.
Even the little tiny image of it that I can see, it looks nice. It's a nice dust jacket.
Well, and it's massive, dude. And what I had posted in the Valiant group on Facebook, the main Valiant group, is that when you take the dust jacket off, it actually looks really, really awesome. I don't know. I really like the stark red logo. The spine looks really good, as much as you can see it. And it's got a bunch of art in the back, as Valiant tends to do in all their hardcovers. There's a lot of really, really cool shit in this book. So whoever wins it that's going to be really awesome. But if you don't win it, I definitely still recommend getting this. It does have it's got the one page from Eternal Warrior 4 that Bloodshot shows up on. It's got the entirety of Rise 0. It's got Eternal Warrior 5. It has Bloodshot 0 through 24. It has some Secret Weapons issues, hardcore. There's so much in this book.
Nice.
That's nice. That's nicer than what I have, because I won't be picking up one. I have a bound volume of 0 through 26 of Bloodshot that I bought off of eBay a while back. And it was pretty cheap. And I think the reason why it was so cheap is because somebody was like, hey, I'm going to pick up that new omnibus. So someone take my bound volume. But the one thing I noticed today about this as I was looking through it, because I was like, oh, I can't wait to show this thing off because it's cool, is that the person bound, and my video delay is super late, but the poster is folded up in this thing pretty nice. So pretty stoked on that. It's a pretty good volume. I have doubles of all the stuff from 27 up to 51, and I have a couple copies of Last Stand in the yearbook. So I'll probably just try to make one of these so that I can have another volume, volume 2. But damn, that omnibus looks nice. Yeah. And I know that when you showed the pictures of it with the dust jacket off, the production value on it is very nice. So whoever wins that, very lucky. That's $100 book, right? Is it $100 on that?
The price on it is $100. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
But honestly, it's totally worth it. You get so much in this. It's all laid out really, really well. It even has an interview and multiple interviews in the back. An interview with Bob Layton and Kevin Van Hook about Bloodshot and about going to the set of the movie. It's got an interview with Don Perlin, which is absolutely hilarious. I actually went through it. So I have read some original Bloodshot stuff before, but I never read Rise 0, which I know sounds probably crazy to a lot of people who are long-term Valiant. But I've never read Rise 0. I actually sat down and read it in this today, and that was crazy. And it's so cool. have this one. Like, I have several copies of Rise Zero, and I've never read it, but now I have this big omnibus that has everything in it. I can readily access it, and I don't have to worry about taking comics in and out of bags, damaging them, anything like that. Yeah, this thing is awesome, and I'm stoked for whoever gets it. But I don't know if we're going to do that this second. We definitely want to give people an opportunity to come in if people aren't on the episode right now. We don't want only people who showed up right away to get a chance. So if you guys hang out with us, I know we've got a couple of people in the chat already, Scott and Captain Arachno Spider, which I assume is spider lover.
But yeah, on that,
is it? Maybe it's the Night Monkey. Who knows? I don't know what name he's going by nowadays.
It's so the celebration, guys, on this is that we actually hit 100 subscribers. So in the last week, we've gained, I'm almost like 20 subscribers. Got to 100 in the early stages of it, and Valiant was so kind to do it, and so being on here is part of it. And we need to know you're here, so that means we need to have you guys jump on the live chat here with us and let us know you're here so we can get your name in the hat. And later on the show, we'll pull that name out of the hat, and we'll have Valiant send you that hardcover that looks so dang beautiful. So
yeah. So and real quick on that, just say hi. If you're not on the entire episode, I understand. You know, things happen, but just show up in the chat, say something so we know you're here, and oh yeah, and Brendan Holton, he was like, I think he was like number 100.
99. He just sent us these number 99.
Oh, so yeah, just make a comment so we know you were here, and then we're gonna do it that way. We'll be generous with it. We're not gonna make you stay the whole time, although you should, because on these kind of episodes where we do these giveaways, it's a great way to kind of see what we're doing here every week. You get a chance to talk with the fans, you get to interact with us, which we really like. You know, it's a great thing for us too when people ask us questions or give us comments, because it does help push along the conversation too. So if you got thoughts, if you got anything you want to say, shout it out in the chat, or at the very least, just say hi tonight so we know that you're here.
Right. And as we get further into books, we're actually going to get into spoilers. So there might be a way where you want to pull away before the end of it because you haven't read. But yeah, so rock and roll. And there may be some things we come across that you may not have seen in the last couple weeks. One of the things that I put up here, guys, were the two little teasers that we got for Valiant 2020. And it looks like Quantum and Woody's coming back.
Yeah, I think that's great. The last three's written by Elliot Rahal, or at least the last half of it written by Elliot Rahal. It ended at a very good point where they got to have a bit of a happy ending. And it didn't really say whether or not they were going to be heroes. It sounds like they're going to go back and try to do that. Whether they're going to continue from where Elliot left off, no one knows quite yet. But I'm really excited to see them come back. And I thought that the break, it was a good enough break. I'm glad we're going to get them again.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that the biggest thing is going to come down to the creative team, really. You know, I think Quantum and Woody are awesome characters who, in my personal opinion, have a really good track record in VEI history. I think all their books have been really good, whether it be their solo titles by James Asmus, by Daniel Kibblesmith, Elliot Rahal. When Van Lente and Asmus worked together and did The Delinquents, I thought that book turned out really, really well, and I think that one's actually a bit underrated. So getting definitely excited about, and yeah, we're just got to see who the creative team is going to be. And then the other one,
well, and again, I was going to touch base on Quantum and Woody. We only know that it's Quantum and Woody. It could be the last that last issue that Elliot had was them trying to get into Unity. So they could throw a curveball at us, which would be kind of cool. So just kind of putting that out there. So, but I 100% agree with you. The creative team is going to be very important with those. Loved Asmus and I loved Elliot, and Kibblesmith only had a little bit. I wish he would have had more to go. But it'd be kind of fun if they did throw that curveball at us. And it's something that we didn't expect, but it's still Quantum and Woody in it. So.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, if that tease leads into a Unity series with Quantum and Woody on the team, that would be absolutely amazing. We will see, but that would be awesome. And I think that the other one, see now, when I read that, I gravitated toward the Red Tomorrow. Everybody else seems to be gravitating toward the name Hadrian. I couldn't find anything. I have no idea who that is. Hadrian, however you say that. And a lot of people are saying that it's a Roman emperor. I'm taking their word for it. So that could be a Britannia tease. Like I said, I read Tomorrow, and the only thing I could find was Dr. Tomorrow from the Acclaim years, of which I have read 0. So that's about what I know.
Right, Operation Stormbreaker could be making a comeback and seeing something with that. But yeah, that Hadrian was about a couple. I think it's about 30 decades, or not 30 decades, about 3 decades after Nero. So it's a set a little bit after Britannia, as far as that emperor is concerned. But who knows? I mean, Dr. Tomorrow, somebody who could know the future a little bit. He could kind of foresee the future and that role. But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to go with. I'm one of those people that will go with Tomorrow, also Dr. Tomorrow. Just because I think that's the giveaway is the fact that word is different than everything else. So we'll see.
I would like some, or hopefully it's Britannia too. Hopefully we get 2 different ones that month.
Yeah,
so.
And honestly, I would be okay with more stuff from the Acclaim era getting a bit of a revamp, because a lot of us fans look at the Acclaim era as kind of being a bit of a dud, and I think that Valiant's had a great track record of taking their older properties, revamping them for 2018, 19, 20, whatever year it's been. More so with under Dinesh when he was running the show, because he was the one who got these characters back up and running. But overall, they've done a great job of revitalizing these characters, and they could do that with that one too. Right. There's a bunch of the stuff under the Acclaim banner they could do that with, but I mean, can't get it all out at once.
And Dr. Tomorrow was created by Mark Waid, who's a very popular writer out there, and Valiant favorite artist Doug Braithwaite was one of the co-creators on the art initially. So I would hope that Braithwaite's, if it is Dr. Tomorrow, that we get Doug in a little bit, because I enjoy Doug's work myself.
Now as do I. Got me dreaming of Mark Waid and Doug Braithwaite working on a Valiant book.
It happened once, apparently.
I'm just saying, if it happened now, that would be amazing. I'm not gonna. Obviously, that's. Yeah. Whew, that's just an awesome thought. I like both of them as creators. So. But anyway,
hope they don't go with an EXO, Nazi EXO. That would just be pukable. So I hope that's not the case they go with there. So.
Well, we already had Sickle and Hammer everybody else, so.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
One thing that Valiant has been saying a lot is that coming into 2020, with the movie coming, they're going to want all the heavy hitters on the shelves. So, I mean, we know EXO is coming right after the movie. We know that we obviously just got the start of a new Bloodshot series, so he's going to be on the shelf. Rye is about to start soon. If Quantum and Woody are coming, I don't know what the Hadrian quote is exactly, but there are only a few other characters like Ninjak, maybe Galad, that would really put all those like core characters on the shelf. And that's something I'm looking forward to, because I would love to have both of those characters in active series.
Absolutely. And then everybody jumping on the chat, if you just joined in, we're going to be doing that Valiant Omnibus giveaway towards the end. So keep in the chat. Let us know you're in the chat. And those who are on the chat, do us a favor and let those others know when they come in that is a giveaway, and we're going to be doing that. And it's I kind of like was talking with Tim Seeley, and he was talking about you got red all over, and I think it's good to have a Red Wednesday for a book coming out. But we should get into the other one first, right?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yes, I completely agree. So again, as we kind of mentioned earlier, we are going to get into spoilers, so I hope that you've picked up these books and read them. We'll be talking about Dr. Mirage #2 and, of course, Bloodshot #1. So hopefully everybody's read them, gotten to their shop, or at least gotten to, get it on Comixology or whatever. Dr. Mirage #2. The first issue was really solid. The art was absolutely insane. And here we are, issue 2, and I feel like this is... It's
Don't-
offline.
Oh, we're good. We're good, guys.
The stream.
Yep.
Should I keep going?
We're good.
Or stop? Okay, so most of this issue takes place a few months in the past, where Sean or Dr. Mirage has gone to another side of the world just to try to figure out a way that they can get Hwen back, and she kind of takes matters into her own hands. She in a way doesn't respect the people who have this ability to do it, and to them she kind of comes off like an Americanized person trying to look for like a get rich quick scheme to them is almost how it's taken by them. But she comes back in all guns ablazing to get this to figure out this thing that's going to bring him back, and everything goes belly up on her. So I thought it was a really good explanation. I thought it was just really well done. It didn't necessarily move the present time forward within the issue. So from where the issue ended in issue 1 with Dr. Mirage and then this girl sitting there, and the girl's constantly telling her that this is hell, she's dead, and things like that. We don't move too far from that, but I thought that this issue served a great explanation as to why we are in this predicament in the first place, why things have kind of gone belly up for Dr. Mirage. So I thought it was a great issue, and the art just continues to look amazing on this. I thought the colors were great. They really go really well with the issue's art. Very vibrant. I like that. I do think that in the past, the mood worked to have a darker color palette. So if you look at like the first May series, especially the first May series, David Barron's colors are super dark on it, but they really fit with what's going on the page with Roberto De La Torre's art. But here with this issue, the colors work really well also with the art. So I thought it was another great issue. But I also tend to I've liked everything Dr. Mirage Valiant's done. I've liked it all a lot.
Yeah, I think Nick Robles is. I liked his art a lot, and then Jordie Bellaire is the all-star in this book that I've noticed. Is just her color work is phenomenal, especially her two different ways of telling the present and the past, and just the two different palettes she's kind of using in this was awesome. An interesting story going back to the Egyptian times here with this new book that we got today, going back to the mysteries of Isis and about the Egyptian. I think she was like the princess, and she was later said to be like the mother of the pharaoh. And it's said that she had brought her husband back to life herself. And so it was cool. The story was all right. I think the big piece that kind of got me was it didn't really seem like Dr. Mirage and Han. Like Shan and Han totally seemed like not their normal character. So it just seemed like she went too gung-ho into something without really kind of being the patient cool, figuring it out like I feel like Dr. Mirage normally does in that back piece. So seems like she was not very patient in this, and I think that's probably my biggest hiccup that I saw in the book was wondering more about her. So.
Yeah, I think the struggle for me is that I've never personally been a really big fan of a lot of the Dr. Mirage stuff. I tend to like her a lot more when she's a supporting character in something, like when she was in Ninja K, I thought was awesome. She showed up in Faith stuff, I thought was cool, but I don't know. So I'm not the biggest fan of hers, and I think that this ends up being, very similar to what we've basically always gotten from Dr. Mirage stories. It's always just about her trying to bring her husband back to life, and I was kind of hoping that be a little bit less about that, I suppose. So that's just me. But again, I'm not really I'm not a huge fan of this character, so I don't think that this series is really for me. So I think that, from my personal taste, this isn't the greatest book ever, but I do think that it's really, really well done. I think it's really well written, and the art is absolutely insane. Like it's just ridiculous. The colors really, really blew I think all of us away in that first issue. And here in the second one, I feel like now that I'm kind of used to and know what to expect from the colors, I was able to focus more on the line art in this issue, and I feel like that was really, really solid here as well. So I think for me, while I'm not a huge I'm not a huge fan of the character. I think that the art is what really made me enjoy this issue.
Absolutely. And people are online talking about the covers right now. And they're talking about that pre-order cover by Zu Aruzu. That one right there. Gorgeous. David Mack-esque look. Just a gorgeous. But I do think covers are pretty awesome on this. So, yeah. So some of them, like the one that right there looks like somebody said, like a crane art. And I think it's great. So, yeah.
Who did the cover that's got the white
That's Zu Aruzu.
That thing is beautiful. I like all the covers on Dr. Mirage, but that one especially stands out for me.
Yeah. That I totally agree. The one with the white background. But I think, like you guys said, they're all really good. I think that all around, from cover to interiors, I think the art is really, for me, the strong point on this issue. Nothing like huge stood out. I think it was a fun issue, but like I said, it's just not hugely for me. I would give this like a solid 3.5. Again, I think it's really well done, but I do think that there are other people out there who would enjoy this book a lot more than I did. Just like I said, there's a difference in preferences.
Yeah.
Hey, for the people who are in the stream, can you see us? Like, is the stream working for you? Because Todd Lewis has been messaging us, and he says that the stream is still down.
We have Scott who's messaging and communicating back and forth, so I think Scott can see us, so we're good.
Yeah.
Oh, and Todd, thank you for saying who your username is, so that I've been trying to write down who everybody's YouTube name is, and it's kind of hard when someone's got like a weird handle, so to say.
Some of them are better than others.
Yeah. So for me, and this, it just comes from the fact that I'm a big fan of the character. I'm gonna go with a 4.25. I thought this was another great issue. I thought the explanation as to what's going on, to me it made sense as far as like, why they're in this predicament in the first place. I thought it was very compelling. Can't wait for the next issue.
Yeah, I think I'm saying some of the same things Eric's saying as far as it's not quite the book for me. Doesn't mean it's a bad book. Because not every book is supposed to be for you. Because my name is not everybody.
That's right.
I would say, for myself, I'm getting this. I'm going to say kind of like a 3.25. The only thing that's really pushing it down for me is I don't feel like it's really speaking to the to who Shan is, and that she is going a little bit too forward than what I normally feel like she would be patient, and a little bit more reserved than what she kind of seems like she is in this so far. But art's great. Story looks like it's going somewhere. So 3.25, yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yep.
And I definitely think that, like Josh said, he's a fan of the character, so obviously his score was quite a bit higher than either Hoosier or I. And I think that that's one thing to keep in mind a lot too, is like, what we score books a lot of times tends to be colored by our own personal preferences and doesn't necessarily mean what somebody else. So we're definitely not here trying to tell anybody else how much they should enjoy the book. And I love that even though Valiant has a fairly small line, they're able to put out books that are going to appeal to different kinds of people. I think that Livewire appeals to a different audience than, Rye or Fallen World, and I think Dr. Mirage appeals to a different audience than Killers. So I definitely think that that's a positive thing, and hopefully we all have something to enjoy.
Yeah, I always like when Eric and I don't agree on something. Just because I do feel like a lot of times Eric and I do have such similar tastes. It's probably why we started this podcast in the first place, is because we both liked Bloodshot so much. And then we both liked Ninjak so much, and Exo Manowar. And so times like this where there's a book that we're both a little bit different on, that's a great thing. I always just feel like that's the way it should be sometimes, but generally we like the same stuff. It
was pretty good last week. Eric and I were talking about Psylords, and what I didn't like was the reasons he liked it. So it's kind of like, geez, let's headbutt, dude. But it is nice when we could talk about it and understand that people have differences, and that's what we need to learn in the world too. But Eric, what did you score? Did you score Dr. Mirage number 2?
I gave it a 2.5, so just a little higher than you.
All right, so we'll get into the next week.
now do we get to talk about the new book, the book that I've been absolutely just jacked about for like forever.
Oh, wait. Let me pull it up for you. I got it right here. Gods and Gears from Ryan Wynn, Valiant creator.
Yes, Gods and Gears. That's what we want
Yes,
to talk
that's
about.
the book I've been waiting for. I've been excited for that because we are all friends of Ryan. He is a Valiant family person with us. So, anybody pick this up and put it on their pull list?
It's on mine. And Ryan was nice enough to send me a digital through Twitter so I could do a review of it because I haven't had a chance to go to a shop. But it's excellent stuff. And, if you guys don't check out Alterna, it's really your call if you want to or not. But the one really great thing about them, besides the fact that Ryan Wynn, our friend, and, he worked on Divinity, besides him doing a book there, is that their books are really, really affordable. I still think their line is held at $1.50 per issue, so it's not going to break the bank to go check it out. You don't have to chase variants. And even if you can't find it in a shop, I believe Alterna's store tends to stock everything also. And they have a ton of affordable deals for stuff that you want to buy. So we're fans. Check it out. It's a good book. I read it today.
Right.
It's awesome.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
And we love giving Ryan a shout out because he's such a good dude.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's been on the show before. I know he's been on Hoodoo TV, and he's awesome and definitely somebody worth supporting. Like the other guys were saying, he's worked on several Valiant titles, including Divinity, and definitely cool to see Valiant creators going out and creating their own stuff and doing new things, and we're supporting for sure. Can we talk about Bloodshot now?
Yes, finally. Jeez. Like you haven't been waiting to read about.
Wait, let me give a shout out to Todd Lewis, who did a bunch of work getting all these covers together. You're going to be seeing some of them on the live chat here, running through. So good job on that, Valiant Comic fans over Todd, with all these variants, store variants, con variants, and rock and roll. Lead us away, Eric.
So I got this one. I wish it was the carbon fiber, but it is not. Valiant actually was kind enough to hook Josh and I thought they were sending one to Hoosier as well, but they were kind enough to hook us up, and that's really awesome when they send us stuff. We had joked with them about sending the carbon fiber, so I think that was probably why they sent this. It's the same art, but it's obviously not the carbon fiber variant. But it is a really badass cover regardless. And the
John Boy Myers, right?
Yes, John Boy Myers. He did some amazing covers for Killers, and his Bloodshot stuff is looking phenomenal too. I would love to see him do some interiors.
Fallen World was solid too.
Hey, real quick, while we're talking about some of these covers, I don't think you've shown it yet, but I want to say it's the Jay Lee covers are so badass on this, and they use the old Bloodshot logo from the 90s. They are awesome. That Brent Peoples one is great too.
Yes.
A lot of good ones. That Tim Sale, we're doing a Valiant cover.
Right.
How amazing is that?
There's your Jay Lee's.
Yeah, that's great. There's so many really, really good ones. It's crazy. And like you said, Todd Lewis has done a lot of work pulling together 36, I think was the number that I saw last. 36 different covers for this book. And the fact that there's a Tim Seeley variant, that's really fucking cool. And I feel like I should probably get that, but I don't think it's going to help this book.
Hey, you know what? I do have a complaint on these variants. This is a minor variant, but you know what? Why is it Jesse Fresco didn't get a cosplay variant going on? Because we had one. We had a cosplay variant.
And it looked...
And I fail to remember the name of the cosplayer, but she was a cool girl. She was always on Valiant Comic Fans back in the day. And, Jesse would have been awesome for this. He's just been doing so much work. Jesse has done a hell of a job promoting the character and the company and getting people excited for the movie. It would have been cool to see.
But they do have that mock-up of Jared Leto when they thought he was going to be that one right there that's on the screen now. Wasn't that the image that they put up for Jared Leto? But it's an awesome image. So, and it's supporting your own, getting more of your own. And I agree with that, Josh. So,
that Boss Logic cover is pretty sweet though, even though
Spider-Man.
it's kind of looks like Jared Leto a little bit.
A little bit. No, I actually completely agree. I would love to see Jesse Fresco get a cosplay variant at some point. That guy has done so much as promoting the character and everything. And like you said, I mean, we've seen cosplay variants before, so it would have been cool to get one on here, maybe on a future issue. Who knows? But Brett Booth's art on the interior, to me, it's perfect for Bloodshot. Like, I think that, like, as much as I loved Louis LaRosa on Bloodshot, and as much as I loved Miko Suayan on Bloodshot, or however the fuck you say his last name, Brett Booth is very different, but just as right for the character, in my opinion. Like, I love that each artist is able to interpret him very differently, and it doesn't always work, but sometimes they nail it, and I feel like Brett Booth's art on this issue is peak Bloodshot. It's perfect.
And it actually turned out way better on the page than what you were seeing in the, like, kind of the preview arts and everything. I think there's a page where he's rolling out of the van right here that we're seeing on the image. And I thought he was jumping, but after you read it and you got through the panel, to see him like roll through, you see the action, and I just think he did such a good job of portraying the action of Bloodshot. And that's probably the best thing about this issue is all the dang action. And I kind of liked what is it called, the demon puppy at Twitter had to do with it. So, yeah.
You know, one thought I had on this too was that it's such a departure from what we've had previously with the character, especially with the big fiasco with Rising Spirit. It was really nice to see Valiant have a take on the character done by Tim Seeley, so far from what anyone else has really done with the character. I don't mind the little bit of Bloodshot having more of a personality in this. There's a ton of action in this, and I just think I want to keep liking the character, even if it's not written by Jeff Lemire. And if people can offer up really interesting takes, even if like the personality isn't quite the same, I'm okay with that, because if it's entertaining and they can make me like how the personality is, I'm willing to go with it. And I thought this issue just had a lot to offer as far as the dialogue. There was a lot of panel work in this. There's a page up on my screen right now, which, when you hear me talking, I don't know if it will be up anymore, but it's where you see Bloodshot's eyes just under the truck. I think it's just such a great panel where you just kind of know that something badass is just waiting for whoever looks under that car or under that truck. But yeah, how much action is in this? It's just crazy how great it is. So I love this direction. I hope this is what the book is going to be like, just high octane, lots of gun battles and Bloodshot fighting people. Hopefully the villains are good. It's always my concern with these type of books that the characters go up against formidable foes. But I think so far they're on the right page, or the right path with the character again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we all loved, or for the most part, we loved what Lemire did of kind of breaking down the character. But I like how this is bringing him back to where why most of us fell in love with Bloodshot to the beginning was just this shoot 'em up, action-packed character with some underlining things that are there, right? They're not always in front of you, but this is the first issue. I believe we will get more, I'm sure, from Seeley on it, just about this character. But I like the action. I enjoyed it, and I love the characterization that Lemire did. But this is a different take, a different writer. It's a different book, and even though it's the same character, it's hopefully they just continue staying true with the character. And this first one, I liked it. I do like how funny it was. There were some parts of it that were hilarious. The dude getting shot in the mouth, and then his dialogue and the jokes that were given to him after that were freaking amazing. And just all the way around, like, it is. We didn't get to really get to know the Bloodshot iteration that's in this series just yet. We just see that he was caring about some refugees and or rebels. I'm not sure what they want to be in this. And he's taking out the bad guys, and he looks like he's got a pretty good group of foes after him.
Yeah, and you know what? Speaking about like the humor and all that, like, I thought that was a great thing, and with the way the character has been presented in the past, especially under Lemire, where he was torn down, he was broken down to the bare essentials, and his story wasn't that happy or action packed. It was a drama. It was like a violent drama, if you will. which worked. Totally works. Lemire should always go down as being like the definitive writer of the character. But I'm glad that they went away from that. This is a Bloodshot that has more of a clean slate. So we don't know what happened. I mean, we can theorize, Harbinger Wars 2 or some other things maybe. But we don't know what got him from the end of Salvation necessarily, depending upon where it's set, to this point now. But I'm digging it. So if they can keep this up, I think Seeley's an underrated writer for this book. And the art is amazing on this thing. So my score on this, I would actually go a 4.5. I believe that's the score I gave on my review. There wasn't much not to like about this. I mean, it was a ton of action. There's not a lot of story to it just yet, but I think this was the perfect way to launch the character again.
Yeah. See, so, okay. To me, like, what you guys have been saying is kind of what I've been thinking and feeling and saying a little bit since reading the Ashcan a long time ago, is I think that this is the exact way to approach this character after what Lemire did. You don't come into this character after Lemire spent a couple of years breaking him down and building him back up. You don't come back in and do that again. What you do is you take a different direction. Now, it didn't necessarily have to be this direction, but I think one of the interviews I read with Seeley, he was saying that what he's basically trying to do is approach Bloodshot almost like he's a horror movie character. We're not... Everything with Lemire was inside Bloodshot's head. All the action, everything that we saw was from Bloodshot's direct perspective, and we always got his thoughts on everything. We always got his view on what was happening, and we didn't know things if he didn't know them for the most part. This is, we have no idea what's going on with Bloodshot. Sean brought up in the live chat, do Magic or Jesse even exist anymore? And we don't really know. And I think that part of that is not, to Tim's. I don't think that's Tim Seeley thumbing his nose at continuity. I think that's him trying to take a different approach and make Bloodshot into this larger-than-life badass thing. I think we've got this, Black Bar organization, and they're out there telling, giving these scary presentations and telling everyone that Bloodshot is a god and he's going to be the end of humanity. And I think that they're basically just trying to tout Bloodshot so that they can get more funding and do more of the crazy shit that they like to do. Meanwhile, Bloodshot, and for the fact that they're probably tied into a bunch of the organizations that Bloodshot's going around and disrupting. So I think that this is a very, very different take on the character. I think that this is a really good way of saying, okay, he's not being controlled by anybody anymore. He's finally able to do what he wants to do. We saw in Salvation that he can't just sit on his hands and live a happy life. So even if Magic and Jesse are still around, he's not the kind of guy who's going to sit at home and be a stay-at-home dad that cooks meals every day. He's going to go out, travel the world, and try to place. And I think that this is an amazing direction to take. The art is perfect. I think the writing is right there. This is such a solid start. Obviously, it'll be cool to see where things go and where the continuity lines up and all that kind of stuff. But for now, absolutely loving this. I'm going to give it a 4.75. It's damn near utter perfection.
One thing that I'm going to enjoy a lot, I enjoy a lot about it after kind of like seeing some Ashcan art and then you seeing Brett Booth's pen work, is looking at Dollhouse's colors onto it. It really like basically complemented it really well. And so I enjoyed that a lot. So give some shout out to Dollhouse for that. And again, the story, it didn't get us a whole lot as far as plot-wise, but we have an idea that there is this group that's coming around for Bloodshot, and they're going after him. And it sounds like he's like on a war against mercenaries, against anybody who's doing wrong. And I kind of like that about Bloodshot. I like where it's at. I do like that it's him versus the world type of thing, because I think that's where he fits the best, because that's just the character he is. In the live chat, I do see people talking about Jesse and Magic that you were talking about. I interviewed Tim at Emerald City Comic Con this year, and he did say that Magic and Jesse will be coming on down the road. But he's saying to get it started, he's kind of setting his own path, and I like that he's doing that. You said that this is the perfect way to get started, Eric, and I agree with you, man. Kind of just changing it and getting back to that.
I think what Ryan Pond said in the chat is exactly right. This is a reset, not like a reboot of the character, but kind of Tim Seeley showing fans like, okay, you guys have to understand what kind of book this is going to be, and here's the kind of book that it's going to be, and then he can dive deeper.
No,
Sorry,
no,
I didn't mean to
I'm in 100% agree with that, Ryan, and you, Eric, and reason being, the movie's coming out in a couple months. This is going to be a trade. Somebody who's never picked up Bloodshot is going to pick up this trade, and they're not going to know this deep dive Lemire dish that initially came out. So you need to set the path where it's at and give them this introduction of the action. That's probably why most people are going to go see this in the movie in the first place. And so by introducing them in this way is going to be awesome. And as far as the way of scoring it, I'm going to be right there with you, 4.75. I think this is a great first issue, a great start. And it looks like we're going to get 3-issue arcs so far in the beginning. And so that means we should get some plot moving pretty quick. And I've been a fan of Tim's for a while. I like what he did with Grayson and Nightwing. And so moving forward, I think giving him a character like this, I think we could rock and roll with it. And yeah, so I'm in, 4.75.
Yeah, so real quick, I wanted to point out Chris Edmondson is in the chat, our friend Neil Moosey. And there was an old Fan Art Friday participant who has one of these covers up. So someone who has done art for the Valiant fan page has a
or another fan.
The gym one.
Who in his gym.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's great. That's a great journey for someone to just submit fan art, and then a couple months later, or however long later, they got a published cover. Like they got their foot in the door of the comic book industry. That's incredible.
And I dig that it was a fan that published.
I don't remember the name of the person. I don't remember the name. That's the only thing.
Chris probably can get that for us.
Yeah, I don't remember the name either, but I'm pretty sure it's that gym variant, which I really need a copy of that. But I think it's that gym variant that was the fan that got to do that. And that's really fucking cool.
Yeah, it's a good cover too.
Yeah, definitely. That is a really good cover. I really want that one. I'm gonna have to get that one. If I don't think I already ordered it, but if I didn't, I need
and then
to.
Todd, I'm sorry, we got a question in the chat. Todd basically asked, "Do we want it to connect around to Jesse?" My answer there is yes. I do want that continuity to come back, but I see why separating it right now to get us started is kind of important to the story.
Yeah, we don't need them right away. They can exist in the background for right now, or as just, we can think about them, but we don't need to see them quite yet. The story doesn't have to be about them right now. We had a lot of the past work, especially Lemire's run that dealt so much with those characters. It's kind of nice to have a break from them.
Yeah, and get it back to Bloodshot itself. Yeah.
No, and I think that to kind of circle back around to another thing that you were saying, Hoosier, I think it was you saying, with the movie coming out, this is going to be somebody's first Bloodshot book. They're going to come out of the movie theater and they're going to say, wow, I really want more of this. They're going to go to a comic shop, and what's going to be the most readily available thing, and to them, look the most accessible? Bloodshot Volume 1. That's absolutely what they're going to gravitate toward. It's going to be right there on the shelf. And this is going to be somebody's introduction to the comic version of Bloodshot. And I think that this is, like Hoosier said, it's a lot better to try to give them this fresh start and then ease into continuity, as opposed to starting this issue off saying, here's all the stuff that you really have to know to understand this comic book. Because this needs to be new reader friendly, and I think that this issue accomplishes that. And while this book eases us back into more continuity stuff, that'll also give new fans an opportunity to go back and read things like The Valiant and Bloodshot Reborn, and go back and read Straczynski's run from 2012. And with this super badass omnibus of the classic stuff from the 90s, people have that available too, where they can go back and read the original stuff from Kevin Van Hook, Don Perlin, Bob Layton, and really see where the character started. So I think that Valiant's doing a really good... I think that the approach to this makes a lot of sense from like a business and a readership and building the base perspective, but that would all be moot if the story sucked, and it doesn't. So I think that this was honestly really, really well executed, and the only thing that could drag it down is if the story takes a downturn, but it sounds like there's a really good plan in place, and even if we just get more issues exactly like this one, I'll be fucking stoked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, after what we just had in the last year of Bloodshot, I'm ready for an action-packed shoot 'em up, because we didn't know what we would get with Rising Spirit, and it just ended up being a bit of a clusterfuck. So at this point, give me guns, give me explosions, give me Bloodshot making quips, and saving the day. I'm okay with that. That's fun. That's $4 well spent.
Right? I mean, there's a reason that Rambo is still coming out with new movies. Just because sometimes you just like, some action. Sometimes you just like it. And I think that we've gotten the opportunity to have some really in-depth of this character. But I do love the 80s. I love the action. I love the, I guess 80s. I'm calling it 80s because it reminds me of 80s action movie. But the 90s comics are right here live. But yeah, give it, Rambo keeps making movies. So I think Bloodshot could come back to the basic, give us some action. And yeah, that's all I got to really say about it. I enjoyed it.
Best cover? Moose is asking the best cover. What
do you guys think? Put it in the chat. What do you guys think the best cover is? What's your favorite?
There's so many really good ones. That backlit one, that one's really cool. I like the Jim one.
The Jim one's dope.
The redacted one or whatever, I think it was Barry Kitson. Those ones are really cool.
The carbon fiber.
Many. The David Barron.
David Barron's cover is awesome.
I mean, that could kind of go back.
So many of them are
I
great.
just think the A cover was the one. It's not that it's bad. I just don't think it was a good job portraying what the story's going to be. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's not my favorite by any means. I love the John Boy Myers and the one on screen right there. I don't even know who that is. That's gorgeous.
The one where he's doing the Spider-Man pose looks pretty good too. Again, I mean, like it's too hard to even say because there's so many covers. There's like 36 covers, and most of them look awesome. I wonder how the sales will be on this because Rising Spirit is supposedly the best #1 selling Bloodshot under VEI, and it had a ton of variants too. But I don't remember if it had 36 covers, so I hope this one breaks that just because this book is good. It's a good start for people to read this, and Rising Spirit, nothing about that book deserves to be the #1 of anything.
Glad there's not a cat cosplay. Those were not my thing.
Oh, dude, if they would have done that again, I would have been totally cool with it. I have all of them.
Yeah. That's the two things that they should have done that I wish had been done.
The one I said they shouldn't have.
A Jesse Fresco cosplay variant and a cat cosplay variant.
Hey, Valiant, we know you listen. How about we get a Jesse Fresco and a cat variant as one? We
Jesse will be Bloodsquirt to the cat.
The cat would be Bloodsquirt. But I mean, but here's the thing. I've got a cat. I know Eric's got a cat. I don't know if you have a cat, John. But we're cat men here, okay? And we're down with cat variants. So. Well, if they get a goldfish variant, you can be a part of the team too.
So people are commenting their favorite covers. Everybody is saying like Kitson is a pretty common one. A lot of people really like David Barron. I'm not a huge fan of the Jai Lee ones, the retro ones, but I also think that Brent Peoples one is really badass. Like,
you just love his work.
I'm a really big fan of his, and I think that cover turned really well.
But
John says he hopes I stop with the cat variants because he keeps buying them. Yeah.
No, Valiant needs to keep that going.
Well,
that's a
those guys,
cool thing. Just like the gold books.
That cat is local to Seattle out here, so he frequents my comic shop quite often. Both of the two cats. There's a black one and then like a brown one. I don't know what color you call those, but yeah, both of those cats frequent my comic book shop. So if you guys need a signature, let me know. I'll hook you up.
A paw print. I think I have some books that have the cat's paw print on them.
My LCS had the Exo Manowar as their variant when they did the Camp 2017. So.
Hell yeah! I think that might be the only one I don't have. I did just buy the Toyo Harada one.
Nice.
So those are great. And I'm doing my best. I'm trying to keep up with all the names. So if on the screen it just looks like you can see the top of my hat, it's because I'm on my screen. The chat is so tiny, but I've done my best to keep up with every name of anyone who popped up in the chat. I've got them all written down.
So Are we ready to do this thing?
Are we ready?
Everybody that's live in here, if you have not put in your chat your name, let us know. We need to know you're here so we can get your name into the chat book or the Josh's hat where you can see his head now, and he can write your name down and get you in there. So we're gonna give you guys a minute to do that.
When you start seeing the gleam of my head, you know.
Okay, we got Adam Alamo showing his face in there. Scott Bloom, Todd, Chris. Keep coming. Sean Hayes always. So yeah, let us know if you guys are in here so you can get that pretty little book that Eric's showing you right now.
Thankfully, none of you will have to smell these because I've been wearing this hat all day. Let me know when we're ready to draw.
Smell this book, though. That's one thing I noticed about this book. It does have a very strong smell. I don't know if that means anything to anybody.
It looks big enough to where you need to work out your spine, too, though. So to make sure that you're exercising your spine just right. So,
you know, when I was putting up the post about tonight's episode, and I always try to sound like I'm somewhat intelligent. I don't know if I ever come off like that, but I was putting on like one lucky winner, and I wanted to put in parentheses, unlucky if you have back problems. These books are kind of heavy, okay? You could beat the shit out of someone with one of these books, though, like pretty good.
Yeah, when it came and I lifted the box, I was like, oh man, that's this book has some heft to it.
You're like 100 copies of cover A, yay! And then you got that, you're like, oh man, I was hoping it was 100 cover A.
Nice. All right. I think we got everybody in.
Have we got any? Okay, so.
Or did you get Alex Cross in there? Alex Casa in there? Okay, good.
Yep, he's in there. Okay. And I folded up all of these very, very tiny so they'd all be the same. Okay. And for those who want to know, I've got it right here. Here's the one that's the winner. Here's all the other ones. It's raining men. So
that's right. That's all we got is men in here. Oh my gosh. 35-year-old men.
Man's game.
Valiant's key audience.
Sean Hayes.
Sean.
Holy shit. Do you win something every time we do something?
Are you serious?
Congrats, Sean.
Sean is the lucky winner of a fantastic, beautiful omnibus.
I believe he won a gold book from us back in, I think on the episode 100 maybe, or some maybe on one of our Emerald City giveaways. So congrats, Sean. Thank you to everyone though who stayed with us tonight. Please stay subscribed if you can. If not, I understand. You know, shit.
Yeah.
The more we get up, the more we have a chance to win again. So stay subscribed.
That's right.
Keep us going, guys.
Tell your friends, because maybe when we get to 150 subscribers, we can get another one, you know, or maybe when we get like 500 people on our Facebook page.
Let's keep it.
We love the thing.
I can guarantee this is not the last time that we will give away something cool like this.
Yeah. For people who have listened for a long time, I've always given away a lot of the stuff that I've gotten at Emerald City. I think this year was kind of a dud for me, but that show was a little bit rough on me. But normally we do a lot of giveaways, so definitely this isn't the last time. And we have a pretty good relationship with Valiant. They seem to really support all of us podcasts, and they do a lot for us as it is. So I know for them that it's right. Advertising, but they also like to treat the fan base really well. They're the best publisher when it comes to how they treat their fan base. Well, I know,
for instance, they gave Comics Pop and Comic Story and the carbon fiber because they are so big. So maybe one day we'll get that big and you get the chance to win you a carbon fiber or an invisible cover that comes out the next book. And
yeah, maybe if I find one in the quarter bin, I'll give
that
too. I don't know. But hey, thank you to everyone who shares these podcasts because it helps us. It helps us find new viewers. And hopefully it helps bring fans to us and to Valiant. Thanks to everybody who subscribed and interacts with us on here and outside of here. So we can't do this without you guys.
And if anybody's at New York Comic Con in a week, let us know what the news is, man. We won't be there, but we kind of want to know what the news is, and hopefully we have something. We don't have a book next week. So hopefully we can get something out for you next week. And then I'm actually going to be on vacation, so I don't know the following week. So we'll see what we do from there.
Yeah. So we may be a couple weeks without an episode. But hopefully, if there is something that we can do an episode on next week, even though we don't have a book, we will do that.
Maybe we can get Ryan Wynn over here. We'll do this.
Right?
With
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
That would be because
cool.
even though he doesn't have a Valiant book, he's a Valiant creator. We like him, so we'll see what we can do. We don't take our word for it yet. We haven't even talked to the guy, but we'll just see what we can do.
Yeah. Although we do, that is something that we like. We got Josh Dysart on here talking about his book at TKO, and Kevin Van Hook came on to talk about his movie that he directed, Alpha Wolf, which people should go check out on Amazon. I'm pretty sure it's on Amazon Prime. But
it just went over to another service too. I saw him make a post about how a bunch of his movies went to some service. I can't remember what it was though. So that's not very helpful by me. But if you go stalk his Facebook page, you'll find out the info on that.
And then new comic book TV
yeah.
show out on ABC, Stumptown. So got the chance to see that at Rose City Comic Con. It's worth looking at. It's Greg Rucka. So just kind of comic related. Go watch a brand new comic show that just came out. So.
Well, hopefully we get a Valiant show at some point. We know we're getting a Valiant movie. Hopefully the trailer drops when they're into
in like a month. It's gonna drop in like a month.
Yeah.
Then that's just
October 18th.
Countdown, like every day with variants, with old Bloodshot covers, and people buy them on eBay because they think that there's news surrounding like Uzi the Clown and shit like that. So good luck on that. Good luck on that one, speculators. Hey, speaking of comic book TV shows, just real quick, I know we're wrapping up. Watch The Boys. The Boys was awesome. I watched the whole thing. I can't even believe how much I liked it. It's good. It's not even that much like the comic. It's got some differences, some pretty big differences, but
it's got some direct
TV.
panel for panel shots too. I mean, there's
The Boys itself, like they don't have at this time they don't have the Compound V, but they're still wrecking some shit. There's some differences to the 7, but it's pretty crass. It's definitely not for kids or people who are just too immature to handle that stuff or delicate. But I loved it. It's awesome. So good, so good. Awesome. Watch it.
I would agree. But yeah, so get Valiant, episode 134. Hopefully we'll be giving away more stuff soon. Congratulations again to Sean Hayes. You're correct. You do get paid more than us with all the stuff that you've gotten.
Hey, Sean, send me your email just so I can make sure I have it updated so I can send it to Valiant.
Yeah, definitely a good idea. Get that info to Josh. He'll get it off to Valiant. But yeah, again, episode 134. Thanks everybody for being with us. Whether or not it's next week, we will be coming up to episode 135 and getting some new. We got more stuff on the way. Can't wait to see what comes next, especially with this Bloodshot. But thanks everybody for joining us. Signing off. I'm Eric Baumgard.
And I'm John Hoosier. Stay valiant, guys.